on the refineries in the course of the last 10 years. So, being this National Assembly committee, we focused on activities that were performed by us under contracts. So, and this is why our submission in the short time we had focused on the only contract that we have signed with Nnpc in the last 10 years that was relevant for a study that was performed in we were ready to sign the contract in January. Then on January, unfortunately, I had a nice retreat in Port Harcourt Maximum Prison Corrective Center, so I stayed there for 12 days. So we were not ready to sign. So, and why I'm saying a perfect storm, because the day I been released from the jail in Port Harcourt, Saipem Worldwide announced a profit warning of a global scale, and the management of Saipem has been changed again. So this has created, I will be again very pragmatic and straightforward, let me say 3 months delay, 3-4 months delay caused by Saipem. Then in March 2022, we finally geared ourselves up together, we finalized the discussion, and we submitted what for us were the potential final contract to Nnpc. And from there, I understood Nnpc has been busy with other analysis, so we have not heard back from that. This is as a summary. Correct.
At the same time, have you delivered on the job? Have you delivered on the job that you are doing?
The one of 2017?
Yeah,
yes. Yes.
We have information that you've not completed the job. That you full payment to that.
Actually, Honorable Chair, a point of correction here. So we delivered the full job, and if we have to be completely correct, we have not received the last payment from Nnpc. So the job has been delivered, copies of the job has been submitted to the Commission, so it was a full technical survey. which is roughly 1,000 pages per refinery, plus the commercial proposal that were delivered end of 17, beginning of 18. Oh, sorry.
Your company should be in a very system. And because of management change, you wasted about 3 months before you decide. I think this will go this way. No, we are not having to this problem of refineries.
Sorry, Honorable.
Just obtain reports of those technical reports to find out what is happening in the refinery. We did that for 5 years. We don't understand what I'm saying.
Sorry, Mr. Honorable Member. So a point of correction, if I may, would have cost to rehabilitate the refineries. That was awarded in 2017, June 2017. End of 2017, beginning of 2018, we submitted that report and we submitted to sign a contract. One part is Nnpc. We submitted, and as part of the submission, a proposal.
Involving Iwari and Kaduna refineries alone. You didn't have anything to do with the Port Harcourt refinery.
Correct. Consultancy.
And that you had done your studies from 2017 when you were asked to do the work until 2018, you submitted your work. But you were not given any go-ahead to do the work until about 2021. That was when you attempted to sign a contract with Nnpc. So all that we have been hearing, that the refineries were undergoing turnaround maintenance, can be classified as false. That there is no truth in it. Because if you submitted your work in 2018 and you had not signed any contractual agreement with Nnpc until about the end of 2021, if anybody had told me that there was turnaround maintenance ongoing as at 2019, 2020, even early 2021, that person may not be telling me the entire truth. That is what I seem to take from what you have said. Why did it take you this long to sign the contract? You mentioned correctional center. I didn't understand what you mean by that.
I have unfortunately been detained in Port Harcourt for 12 days when we were supposed to sign the contract. And so I was not able to.
Can you let us in on why you were detained? Either, is it that you were not doing your work somewhere very well?
Is that related to the scope of this?
No, we need to know. It borders on your integrity. Probably you are given a contract somewhere, you didn't do the job, and the awarding authority came after you. It impugns your integrity to even continue to do business with whichever establishment. So we need to know why you were detained in Port Harcourt.
Why were you detained?
Not detained, imprisoned.
It still doesn't answer the question. Is it about a certain payment that was made to your company, and you didn't do the work and all that and all that? That impugns on your integrity as well. So if the Nigerian government can be dealing with persons who have these issues, we should also have to, I don't know.
You are correct. Let him answer them.
the Warri Refinery for $700 million. Is that correct? Okay, okay, on the average. Okay. Yes. Okay. If $735 million. Okay. Now, your survey, the outcome of your survey, what was the quality output of your survey report? How much was the survey contract awarded for? And what was the overall positioning before you agreed to be ready to rehabilitate refinery for $700 million? Note, how much was the survey contract given to you? How much was it? And the outcome, the positioning of the Warri Refinery in the interest of Nigerian government, what was it? And for you to have agreed to turn it around for $700 million, can you tell us, please?
For the survey was $2 million for both refinery. So, sorry, 2 million euro, sorry, euro, sorry. So 1 million, let's say, was a common job, but let's say 1 million for Kaduna and 1 million for Warri. So the job was meant to go and check the status of the equipment present in the refineries. So if there is rust, if they are broken, if we can fix it, if they have to change it brand new. So we expect the overall refineries, and then based on that, so based on this report, and the report is with you electronically because it's 1,000 pages for each refinery. So we developed a status of the refinery piece by piece and submitted. So based on that, then based on our experience and prevailing market condition at the time, we knew that this compressor can be repaired. I will spend $10,000. This other compressor might be both new because it's gone, so will cost $1 million. So putting together all these elements, we arrived to the cost that we have submitted.
Document today. All he has said, Mr. Chairman, how do we corroborate it here? 1,000 pages for each refinery. You are coming to face the committee today, and you brought such today. I don't think it's appropriate for us to continue with him, Mr. Chairman. Because everything he said, there is need for us to corroborate it and ask him. These are purely technical things in the interest of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We need to study the documents. We need to study the documents. I don't think it's appropriate, Mr. Chairman.
Because if this is a very serious technical work, because you have been giving us your submission from the point of assumption, and we cannot verify with facts. For instance, you are talking of 2 million euro for Warri and Kaduna, and you said 1 million for Warri, 1 million for Kaduna. You said, for instance, because so we can't be working on, for instance, it's the same capacity in Warri that we're having, the same capacity in Kaduna, that we're having 1 million here, 1 million here. So we need to be specific. We need to work with specifics. How much is it that Warri is being allocated for? How much is it in Kaduna? So whatsoever you are saying, we need to collaborate with the documents we have here. This is a very serious assignment, so we can't just work with assumption or just. So we need to take this work serious. Very important. Most of us did not travel today because of this assignment, so we can't just come here and be talking on hearsay without us. What you are saying, we need to collaborate to check the facts. Nnpc is here. We need to ask them, is this the real? So we need serious technical chairman. Mr. Chairman, this is not child's play we're here for, please.
Chairman, sir. Chairman, sir.
In 2017, that's on the 26th of July 2017, Sapien, there's a comprehensive technical plant survey in Warri Refinery. I'm seeing 5,320,903.10. Every currency here has to do with foreign. It cannot be naira. I mean, this is our document. The document we have been working with.
Dollar.
It's dollar now. They don't use naira here.
And it is what?
I am quoting the date. The date is here. I am quoting the date. The date is 26th July 2017. Comprehensive Technical Plant Survey, Warri, WRPC, 5.3 million. They said the job completed.
2017?
Yes, 2017, the job completed. This is Nnpc'S document. Oh, you are talking about 2 million. I don't understand.
No, say 1 million.
You say 1 million.
1 million.
And that it was completed in 2018.
26 July 2017, 5.3 million. Job completed.
I'm Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka, a member of this committee. I can rightly pick my rider from the last submission by Honorable Johnson. What you read out, they said it's technical survey report. And SIPEM, the technical survey report, definitely that I'm aware, is that you did the survey before you commenced the actual construction work. Am I right with that?
Construction yet. You're on camera.
Sorry. To reply to your question, is correct in the intention, but not in the reality, meaning that we have done the survey, we did not sign the construction, the rehabilitation contract. So we did not start construction. Submitted the whole technical report to Nnpc. Correct, yes.
Now,
It's a consultant. I don't think
why you?
they will contract. They have completed their work, they have submitted, they have paid, they still have an outstanding payment. What we are saying that what you paid, the award, is their report not good enough for the Nnpc to award? These are some of the silent issues that I need to ask.
Carry on.
Yeah, you said you've seconded the motion. Carry. So, Sapen, I think what we should do is that we will schedule a date, okay, strictly for you. All right? I don't know. Say we'll get back to them.
Of course.
Gentlemen,
Yes, contact clerk.
we'll get back to them. So you, through our clerk, we will notify you when we invite you.
Just a prayer for you, because your esteemed colleagues were absolutely right.
You said what?
Your esteemed colleagues were absolutely right. I have a prayer for you. We have a lot of documentation.
Yes.
So,
There is a motion. You can't say anything. There is a motion. I've ruled. There is a motion, and I've ruled. Okay. So you contact the clerk for a date. Okay.
Call Sergeant at Arms.
Yeah. What's that?
Call Sergeant at Arms, if that was the report. That they were paid
No.
for a job not executed.
No. Sorry.
Solving the job.
Yes.
I think it is
Necessary for NNPC to look at this document to confirm and clarify that they actually pay that $5.3 million to Saipem. They are here now. When we are meeting with them, NNPC will not be here. This is NNPC document. Let them confirm to us whether that money was actually paid or not.
The document says rehabilitation. The whole document talks about rehabilitation. But you are talking about consultancy. And everything is all embedded here. whether it's in naira, in Europe, or in dollar, everything here is talking about refineries already rehabilitated. And the issue is that if they are all rehabilitated, why are they not working?
No, honorable, we will allow NMPC to speak through their own documents.
Chairman, sir.
So maybe after that, yes, I know.
Chairman, sir.
Yes.
Before we continue,
Yeah.
considering the depth of what we are doing and the probability of having variance in submissions, and probably some could be at cross purposes with each other, I would suggest, or rather, move it as a motion that every department, every personnel that will give evidence here must be on oath. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
We've just listened to SAPM, the MD of SAPM. In our own opinion, most of the things the MD said actually they are correct to in our records, because we actually work together. They did the technical survey of WRPC and KRPC only, and truly the sum total of those two projects, that's technical survey, is exactly the amount they quoted for you. That's our record. And they never work on HRC, what I call refinery.
According to your record here,
No.
it's about 2.025 euros.
That's it, exactly. Similar what he said.
No, he said $2 million.
No. He said euro. Chairman, a lot of people are here.
He corrected himself.
No, don't worry. The members have just said. No one. For the refinery, rehabilitation work has not been awarded, and he also alluded to that. We have in simple terms, we have not awarded it.
The contract has not been awarded.
Yes, sir.
For the refinery.
Yes, sir.
Rehabilitation.
Yes, sir. Not yet awarded.
As of today.
Yes, sir. No, not so. No. We have not signed contract with any contractor as far as the WRPC is concerned. Kaduna, not yet. Rehabilitation, sir. No. Has not been awarded, sir.
Wait, sir.
For both WRPC, Kaduna, and Warri. And we have a fake approval to award. And that is the figure you saw in that document.
Now, to award, thank you, to award what?
The contract, or rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation.
Yes, sir.
At what value? At the prices that I quoted.
Exactly. No, it's in the document. There are two things, and that's why he said we could not, up to today, it's not be available to even sign a contract with them. He said it. We have not awarded, but we have a fake approval to proceed based on our contracting process and award, but we have not awarded to Kaduna and Warri. Yes, please. Excellent, sir.
Any company you want to mention, any of the items you are mentioning, we want to know to which company, we want to know the amount, because we've just been talking of, we want to, you're about to award, what amount, which of the projects, because Chairman said, this people, so you said yes, which, how much, so we want to be specific. Say every item according to what you have, to which company, what project, and how much, duration, completion of that project, and everything. Let's be specific.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, we've gone through the contracting process for all the 3 refineries. Port Harcourt Refinery, the Warri, and Kaduna. And that's for the rehabilitation works of these refineries. For Port Harcourt, we have approval and we have awarded that, the contract for Port Harcourt Refinery. The contract was signed April 6, if I can remember, 2021, yes. How the MD of Port Harcourt Refinery even sitting here now. So that was awarded to Technimont, SPA, so not SAPIM. I'm just giving emphasis now. So that's for the Port Harcourt Refinery. And the figure, to be able to quote the figure correctly, less VAT, the MD Port Harcourt will help me in that one with the document there. You need to read from the document. I don't want to quote from my head, so that you get the number correctly. Yeah, it's contract duration. So on that, let me just bring out the document there for the Port Harcourt. MD Richardson, yes.
Okay, as the GMD here has earlier mentioned, the contract for Port Harcourt Refinery has been awarded on the 6th of April 2020 after a very detailed contracting processes and adherences to all procurement activities. FEC approval was sought, and the contract sum that was awarded to Technimont was $1,299,598 lump sum contract. Inclusive of that is 7.5% VAT, which amounted to about $99 million. So the total amount of monies that was awarded to Technimont came to be $1.3 billion or so. Part of the FEC approval also had some provisional sums that was approved for certain works that will not be done by the contractor. And that was about $162 million. All these monies were duly approved by Federal Executive Council. And as the GMD has earlier mentioned, this contract was signed on the 6th of April 2021. And I must say here, Mr. Chairman and other members, the activities of this rehabilitation project has kick-started a month after, precisely on the 6th of May 2021. We are very, very busy on site in Port Harcourt as I speak with you today. A lot of works have been going on. The contractor has duly mobilized, and we've covered almost 30% of the work that we're supposed to do. To answer your question again, the schedule of this contract is staggered with different milestone and delivery dates. For emphasis here, yes, Mr. Chairman, Port Harcourt Refinery has 2 refineries, an old refinery and then a new refinery. So the project emphasis is to try to bring the old refinery as early as possible and be able to run it while other works are continuing on the new refinery and other part of this overall complex. So by our schedule, we are working towards making sure that the old refinery is ready for hydrocarbon in sometime in March, April 2023. That is the schedule that we have signed in our contract. The other part of the new refineries, part of it will be delivered again in about 32 months from the signing of the contract, and the overall project schedule to complete all the works around the whole refinery will take like 4 to 4 months. So as I said earlier, schedule is being staggered, and delivery of this facility will come as I've mentioned earlier. Of course, the benefit is to be able to run part of the refinery that will be ready while other works continue. Cash flow will be available, and we will continue the other projects as it should be. So this is the way it is in Port Harcourt Refinery, and I must say here, Mr. Chairman and other members, we have hosted quite a lot of oversight functions from some committees of the House of Reps, some Senate committees, and some joint committees as well to Port Harcourt Refinery. And they have come, they've shown clearly what we're doing, they've seen with their eyes exactly the activities that are going on in this project. Projects like this, of course, do come around with a few teething issues, which is why we're there to manage it. But we're really doing very well, and we're really making sure that we stick to this course that has been approved by FEC. We stick to this schedule and we make sure that the quality that we agree in our contract is adhered to. These are basic project tenants, and this is why we're there to manage. I will say here, Mr. Chairman, if you have the time, I will be glad to receive you in Port Harcourt so that you will see for yourselves exactly where we are on this important national activity for all of us in Nigeria. Thank you, and thank you, GMD, for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Simultaneously,
Yes,
both old and new,
definitely.
but you now have intention
To finish the old.
to finish the old.
Very well, Mr. Chairman. Yes, very well.
I just want to be on the same page.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Deliver one of the refineries in order to alleviate the suffering of Nigeria. Would it not have been better to concentrate energies on that one rather than spread it? You are doing 30% of both. That's my first question. The second question is, your period to deliver the rehabilitation is 32 months. If I heard you correctly, sir. How long does it take to deliver a brand new refinery of equivalent capacity? How long does it take, sir?
32 years.
Then to Nnpc, is it the representative? Yes, sir. You have not awarded contracts for Warri and Kaduna. I got that right, I guess. Yes, sir. And if these refineries were working, if they were working, do you think that Nigerians will still be queuing to buy products? And if the answer is no, if they were working, we will not have to suffer Nigerians the way we are suffering them today. And you have reports submitted to you as far back as March 2018. Will you, in good conscience, tell Nigerians that you have done well? Will you, in good conscience, tell us that you are not part of the problem of Nigeria? Will you, in good conscience, tell us that you are not punishing Nigerians intentionally? Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
NNPC, I'm not trying to draw us back. I just want to find out one thing. Can you briefly let us know the contract cycle awarded to Saipem for this survey? That's the, was it selective tendering? Was it by competitive? Or what process did you go through? Let me take that from you first, so that I'll not ask the second question from the...
Thank you, sir. Saipem actually, Nnpc'S, let me do that. Nnpc'S actually constructed the Warri Refinery, and Chioda constructed the Kaduna Refinery. Many years back, Saipem swallowed Nnpc'S. They bought it over. So which means they are the original refinery builders. So you understand? So Chioda, they are Japanese, and they were not prepared to come to Nigeria due to insecurity. Japanese. You hardly see them around here. So they novated Kaduna to Saipem. So we have a basis to have asked them to go and do the technical survey, because these are the original builders of the refinery. We couldn't have given it to somebody who was not the original builder. So that we understand what they constructed, what are the problems then, so that will prepare the basis for the EPC contract. So just to let you, to tell you, sir, that we did not just look for them. Thank you, sir.
By waiver, you and the other considerations you gave it to Saipem, because the company they acquired actually built it, and then it's linked and those kind of technical survey.
Yes, and to protect, exactly, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Now, still going from that, since you have not awarded Warri Refinery and that of Kaduna, I think carried out the technical survey. Are they the same people you are awarding this contract to, based on your submission now?
So that was in the intent. When they submitted, they put the proposal letter, which will have a fake approval. It's the same Saipem also, that we are to award the contract. But then, after the fake approval, we have to sit down with them, negotiate the contract, discuss, firm up all the scope, and you have what he said.
Sir, you have, is that your intention?
Yes,
So I put this straight.
that was the intention.
That was the intention.
That was the intention then.
Sir, I put this straight to you.
Yes, sir.
The contract give you the proposal, and how much they will charge you, and you pay them.
No.
You approve and pay them.
No, when you say technical survey, there was scope specific to look to.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Because you have not told us that whether you did any other cost comparison analysis or anything.
No, it's just a survey. We did. It was benchmark.
Chairman will ask you.
Okay.
To address the chair.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Contractor Refinery, both deceived and owed. How many companies, not when I say engaged, how many companies did you award the contract to? Your Nnpc'S?
Very robust tendering process before we reached where we reached.
Sir,
Yes.
accommodation,
No. No. It's a technical bid, complete technical bid. Competitive bidding. Yeah. Competitive bidding process was followed. Oh yes, very clearly. Yes. 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 Yes.
Now, how many companies did you select? Of course, after technical, you are working commercial. How many companies were awarded?
The philosophy was a lump sum contract awarded to the company that won the bid. Single company, Tecnimont of Italy, lump sum contract to them. I'm just answering your question, Honorable. Nnpc signed a contract with Maya Tecnimont of Italy for a lump sum project at the cost of 1.3 billion. So that is the contractor that we deal with on this project. Yes.
Then, lastly, sir.
Yes, Honorable.
Of course, it was the same question, getting value for it. You can as well then take on the second plant to run. Why are we doing the two simultaneously? Is it because, wait, let me give you a lead answer. Because most times, time is of essence when you award contracts. So your contractor may have given you validity period for when the amount they gave to you should expire. And then you want to make use of that time to ensure that the two plans are being worked on simultaneously. The interface, how are we managing it such that at the end of the day, the two plans will not, maybe when you get to 50%, then you'll not be able to progress. How are you managing the interface?
If you complete one, I will take import one.
Let us give a simple preamble of how refinery operations is. It's a very complex process that are intertwined from different things. In Port Harcourt Refinery, because we have the luxury of having this old refinery side by side with the new refinery, that is why we can now schedule our project to be this way, where we can finish the old refinery and begin to run it with 60,000 barrels capacity, while other works are concurrently going on the new refinery, which is the big one with 150,000 barrels capacity. But there are very common facilities, all that has to be utilized: utilities, wastewater, offsites, and other things. So in the simple terms, it's just a privilege that we have to have a configuration like this. With all honesty, Warri and Kaduna, who don't have this, cannot do a project in this manner. So we've done the best endeavor to make sure that, again, of course, we begin to have some products coming just to alleviate these energy demands that we desperately need in Nigeria, coming out from a process while we continue these works in the bigger part of the refinery. The new refinery, as I said, is quite huge by size, 150,000 barrels. And we cannot really wait and say we're not going to do anything there because, as I said, refinery operations is intertwined. You must have common facilities that should be available for you to do certain things. Yes, thank you. There are a lot of guarantees. In our house today, we have about $300 million guarantees that were given by the contractor, which is a contractual obligations in our hands today. Yeah? So that in the end, we have some guarantees to be sure that we can really do this project with this contractor. Of course, and some performance bond. That's what I'm saying. I'm even quoting the value of the bond that we have in our hands given by our contractor, Tecnimont, about $300 million worth of bond.
So 1.3 billion project.
Yes, of course. That's the contractual. It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. And that is contractually best practice, and that's the way it is. So,
Yes, sir.
Contract up to commission.
Yes.
Please restate and reconfirm that.
It's an
1.3 billion is up to commission.
It's an EPCIC project.
I'm talking about the last.
Definitely. It's up to commissioning.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't worry, sir.
But up to the commission.
I want to ask my question on that.
Yes.
So that's why
Yes, sir. It's up to commissioning. Yeah. Of course, has to be done. Hydrocarbon ready, you put it in, you do the normal checks to be sure that everything is okay. You do the performance test of certain things. Of course, not. It's part of the commissioning. Yes.
the question is,
Yes.
do you still have any other thing to be done before others are
Yes. Yes. It's just the start of the plant.
even your pipeline network distribution?
Well, again, back to what I said earlier, refinery business is a value chain completely. Of course, from the source of the crude to the midstream where we are doing the refinery, and then to the uptake of the products. This complete value chain have to be ready for you to have a continuous operations that will guarantee you that. Oh yes, of course. The pipelines too is a different matter. It's being looked at by the people to be sure that the pipelines that supply crude.
What interface management do we have between them and then you as the man running?
Yes, of course. Me as the man in the middle, I'm interested of the person giving me crude, so we are part of what is going on
Can we have any
that side.
documented evidence of that?
Well, it wasn't part of what is requested from the committee, so I cannot say so.
There was a technical survey 2017 by Sapen for the Warri and Kaduna. And as I said, that was the parity basis to put in proposals for the EPC contract. So then they submitted their report. And I also understand that they also submitted the proposal there as reported. But for some reasons, the project could not be awarded then. And that's 2018. And you all know that when they submit proposals, they have their validity period. So funding is also an issue, which will have a department that also have to look for funding for these refineries. So for whatever the reason, it was not awarded for 2018. So we moved to 2019. And to prioritize these refineries, in view of the limited funding we have, we believe we cannot put all the 3 refineries on stream then. So the emphasis shifted to Port Harcourt, looking at other factors. Where are these factors? I can tell you. If we had started with the Kaduna refinery, we know we have issue with the pipeline, 610 kilometers from Warri, because the crude is delivered from Escravos to Warri, from Warri to Kaduna, 610 kilometer pipeline. And we know what's happening in this country. Some of the sectional parts have been finalized. So we'll get the Kaduna ready, but we don't have the crude. I don't think that makes sense to us. So that's why it's okay. Let's look at Port Harcourt. And the Port Harcourt is about 64 kilometers, right, to Bonny. And the pipeline is okay. So that's what led to delaying Warri and Kaduna. And then we move on, put all our effort for PHRC and awarded, and construction is ongoing now, just as just been reported by the MD of Port Harcourt. That's so. And for Warri, which was next, also looking at the closeness to where you have the crude. The kilometer is also not too far to Escravos. So which is the next stage to award. Again, as I said, within the limited fund that we have. We are about to award. Isapen just said it. They were not available. We had discussions. We had engagement. We had all the reviews. And by the time they could be ready, the Isapen company, he said it, they have a, what do you call management and commercial issues. So again, question mark. We have to be careful before we put in contract in that respect. And follow up to that, it was put into a correctional center, as he said. So many issues with the contractor. And this is public money. We have to be very careful. You award contract, and the contractor is nowhere to be found. So it's an issue. So it was not deliberately delay on the part of Nnpc. But because of what's happening in the country today, we cannot just be watching and sleeping. We have to change the strategy, and which is already what we are trying to do now. So And when that is done, Honorable Sirs, the distinguished members of the committee, will be well informed. Because at this stage, we expect this refinery should have become on stream so that we should not be found ourselves where we are today. Thank you. Company Sapiem is one of the reputable companies. Globally, you all will know what Sapiem have done in this country. Today, it is just Sapiem that's working on train 7 of LNG. So, and the people were having discussion, he was the one leading the team, then with us. This question you have just said, internally, they have their internal structures. And they have their team. So, and again, Sapiem is not only in Nigeria, they are global. So the problem Sapiem is facing today is not limited to Nigeria, it's a global issue on their part. He said it. So, and when the issue happened, the entire team could not be found. So why the other members couldn't come, it's not our take, but we wrote them. So it's a two-way thing. You must find people you are negotiating with on the table. That's why I said everything he said there, honestly, the man was very right. But again, we cannot just fold our arms. We have to do something to allay the suffering of this of 200 million Nigerians. And that's why we have moved on from where we were before. We just have to get the refinery back on stream. For you to have, we call it greenfield refineries. Today, what we are doing is rehabilitation of the existing refineries. In project, that's what we call brownfield. Just like you want to renovate this place now. So, greenfield are the new refineries. For you to consult that, in terms of schedule, it depends on the capacity of the refinery you are looking at. It depends on the complication of the refinery you are looking at. So, for me, if you can tell me the capacity, let's take an example of 100,000 barrels of new, as an example now. That's what I'm saying. Okay, for 150 capacity, honestly speaking, you need minimum of 5 years. Minimum, all things being equal. I will tell you, sir. I'm sorry, let me just say, there are so many that are involved in terms of schedule. The supply chain could have impact on you. Last 2 years, none of us could have been here. We never know what happened with COVID. Today, we have the Russian-Ukraine conflict. So many can impact on project. On a good day, a brand refinery has a 150 capacity. In this part of the world, Nigeria, it will take that because you don't manufacture this equipment in this country. Where they manufacture them, it will be a lot easier in terms of supply chain. I've just mentioned that. I said 5 years.
No, how much?
Okay. On the back of the envelope, I will tell you now. For a brand new, what you need to do, as an example, we have what they call, just for me now to do something. In the refinery, you have what they call topping plant. The second stage is hydroskimming. In this case now, we are talking about a full conversion plant. A full conversion plant, you multiply about between $28,000 or to $30,000 per barrel. It will give you the number. So we are talking of 150,000. So 4.5 billion. So
5 billion.
or 4.5 in dollars, yes.
4.5 billion.
That's in dollars. And
Billion.
again, that's the
I'm saying $4.5 billion.
Yes.
For a new plant.
yes, sir. I'm telling you, sir, that's what I'm trying to analyze for full conversion. Cook for conversion plant, yes.
See, the way I'm looking at it is that, okay, this is, we want to build a new one. Instead of spending. It's not too big.
It's a big example.
Chairman, I've just told you something now. So I'm just, yes. Oh, there's so many things happening in Nigeria here. Please, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
You should look at the Mexican plan now. It's there now. You can Google it.
Sir, somebody have just Googled it now.
Yes.
New plant, this is it. Medium size of so the capacity. Yeah, medium size. They said medium size. For the process plant, it will cost between 5 to 7 years, and then the cost range from $7 to $10 billion today. Is there?
What's the
100 to 150.
100 to 150.
100 to 150.
Okay, you can go it. Please go it.
Even if it's 250.
Excuse me.
Check.
Because all the refineries are very quite cool. How are you going to get contractors for maintenance? That's number one. My main question, sir, is that in the last 10 years, can you let us know the estimated amount spent on one rehabilitation work on Port Harcourt Refinery, maintenance of the plants, and the turnaround, whatever, because you want us to keep mentioning the aspect one after the other. Can you let us know by your own books how much you have spent in the last 10 years? Just 10 years. That's one. That's number 2 question. Then number 3 question. What is the current value of the asset of Port Harcourt Refinery as we speak? The total asset you have there. Because I don't know whether we have to turn it into a training center, monument. Because I don't subscribe to continue to spending all this money. Then, lastly, sir, as a Nigerian, I have seen the passion in you. By your explanation, brilliantly explained, brilliantly presented. But to you, sir, have you ever sat down to do a cost comparative analysis that, look, the entire 4 refineries, that the 2 in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and that of Warri, put together, should serve as training centers, while we have a brand new refinery, even if it's the one that will produce 250,000 barrels in a day. In the last 10 years, because if you tell us the cost that I've asked on Port Harcourt Refinery alone, and then we now look back to that of Kaduna and Warri, you know what I'm talking about, sir. And then I want to say one thing. It is not true that it's 5 years. Even the one they recently constructed in Singapore, they spent 3 years and started floating. Even Egina, which is the FPSO that was assembled here in this country, only the top side they brought from South Korea. The entire module, in fact, they brought the biggest crane to this country at Lado. Is it Lado? Yes, Lado. Jetty. I was on Egina, sir, and it was fully coupled and completed in this country. If we are so serious about this thing, if we put 2 heads together, and then you want legislative intervention, because I may not have the opportunity to say this again, the chairman may overrule me. Please, it is high time we jettison and abandon our losses. Let's take them at the risk that we have taken before. Now is to have a rethink. For me, I'm not a prophet of doom. They should scrap even Kaduna and Warri refineries. Both of them should be scrapped. Then, sir, then that of Port Harcourt, the new one, Nigerians, you and then the Executive Council can spend money on that. But the old one is outdated. It cannot serve any purpose. It will just continue. Because, sir, I tell you, if I tell you to run that plant by yourself as the MD, and you don't want any subvention from anybody, you cannot survive it under 2 years. I'm so convinced about that, sir, with due respect. So, why do we now use it? I'm not accusing anyone. It's because of the person that, okay, we want to have a refinery. It's not by force, sir. It's not by force that we must have a refinery. We should even allow investors. That's what you call the foreign direct investment. Let them come. Let them bring floating refineries for us here. When we finish all these refineries, I want to see how we are going to, the network pipeline that have been vandalized over a period of years, how we are going to convey the same, using even the articulated vehicles. We are exposing Nigerians to so many dangers. Because it's so risky that the tankers, you see them even busting or falling down the road and then causing excessive fires. So, solution to all these problems should be all-encompassing. it is not about how much we are spending on the refineries alone, with due respect, sir. So please, help me answer my question.
They are spending 1 million euro on Kaduna Refinery. And you just told us that even if Kaduna Refinery is working, you cannot send crude to Kaduna Refinery because of vandalization or whatsoever. So pipeline water. So why spending 1 million euro on Kaduna Refinery when you know that you cannot send crude to that refinery?
Thank you. I think, let me take 2%. That was 2%. Increase at some spot. So that's what he said. That's what led us now to do the survey with the hope that we'll begin to do the full rehabilitation work. So thereafter, we have a lot of lines that are analyzed. So what the question was, why didn't we progress to award the EPC? That's what led to that question. So 2017, 2018, 2019, I mean, Kaduna stopped even working as at when? 2019, they were still getting skeleton. But when you put a whole cargo of crude, so the question is that how much of the cargo, how much of the crude delivered at the other end? I mean, that's value erosion. So again, we have a department that has to start to put these pipelines in order. So that's exactly what I said. Not that they were then bad, they are not too bad then. It's a question somebody asked me that we should have progressed with the EPC after the survey. Thank you.
I told you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I okay?
How much do you spend annually? How much do you spend annually in maintaining the monitoring
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and other members. Let me start with the first question about spares and maintenance of the facility. Quite a lot of this new equipment that have been procured in this project will come with some spares. But beyond that, there's a change in the way we hope to operate these facilities after this project is concluded, which is going to be utilizing the operation and maintenance model, whereby we'll have a company that will jointly with Nnpc run this facility, similarly to what is done in quite a lot of the upstream projects as of today. So there's going to be a serious shift from what has been happening over these years to what we hope will help us. By this 1M model, we hope to get companies that can make this procurement of these parts easier, can have monies to put in this business in a way that they will have the benefits of operating it. And we're very sure that this will be a solution in making these refineries functional over time. A lot of effort is going on around this 1M model. We are at the bidding process as I speak now. Quite a lot of companies have indicated interest, and the supply chain of Nnpc is handling this bidding process for this operation and maintenance company to come in now before the project ends so that we can run it together once the project is concluded. So I personally am a very optimistic person, and I believe that this approach, which has not been done before, will truly give us that comfort that we can run these facilities in a way that will be sustainable over time. That's not bad. Yeah. Third managing? Managing, I didn't hit you. Okay. Okay. As part of any project, yes. At this moment, because we're on a project level, so we're not operating, of course. We can't be doing project and operate. We have a project management consultant, an owner's engineer, which is engaged to help us. That's why I'm coming. The company is Nnpc'S/KBR of the America. They are providing these project management services and owner's engineer support while this project is ongoing. Yeah. Main contractor? No. The main contractor is Mea Tecnimont of Italy. This project management consultant and owner's engineer is Nnpc'S/KBR of America. They provide the support to the team in managing this huge project as we go on, which is best practice in any project of this scale. Of course. Yeah. We have, sir. We have it. KBR. And Nnpc'S KBR, so yeah. Okay, so I've addressed the first question around maintenance and operationability. Second question, rehabilitation work. Let me say it here that the last time that proper turnaround maintenance was done in Port Harcourt Refinery. Yes.
Now, what you are saying in the nutshell is that at the end of the day, so you have the kind of partnership and company.
Yes.
So that Nnpc or government gradually disengage from the operation of the refinery.
Well, the proper international support so that we can get best practice support, we can have access to spares easily, we can have access to somebody who was doing this thing very well, so that we can together run it and make sure that the refinery operation is sustainable. So I wouldn't say,
Partnership arrangement, so that it's not that something you will now package after 1 or 2 years, you disengage that person and we're back to square one.
no, it's something that probably will continue as the model is enshrined to start. As I said, the bidding process for that is ongoing, so I wouldn't want to really conclude how the outcome is be. I'm just saying the philosophy of what Nnpc is thinking around best practice to make sure that we can run these facilities sustainably over time, around having leverage of experience from someone else, having leverage of financing and ability to have spares to run this business, sir. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Rehab works spent over the last 10 years. Let me say categorically, I wouldn't be able to estimate, but just to give the preamble of what it is, the last turnaround maintenance that was done in Port Harcourt Refinery was in the year 2000. And up to 2018, when we had this own technical survey, the refinery was operating not optimally, but somehow. Up to that time, it was shut down deliberately for this rehab study to be undertaken so that we can establish what we need to do in this project. Over these operations, of course, just like any normal machine, things do change. You have to buy this, you have to change this, you have to move on. So I can't really tell you how much has been spent. I'm sure we're giving a lot of information around that, but I cannot quote exactly what the number is as it is today. But I'm just being clear that up to 2018, Port Harcourt Refinery was having some operations and it was shut down deliberately for this activity to take place and then this project to commence. So, yeah. Yes. And we, okay, the third question I really give at this point, what the value of the asset of the refinery is, but I can say here is in billions, of course. And still a very, very good workable asset. And to be honest with you, Your Excellencies, I have seen a refinery that is almost 100 years old and is still working. What is just needed is to do this periodic maintenance like we all do in our cars to make it to continue to work. And this is just the belief of Nnpc management today, to have this focus to make sure that we do these things. So again, I cannot quote the amount of value of the asset of PHRC today, but it's huge and it's billions.
Okay. Just to address that, we have a public of Nnpc's assets. We got it wrong. But the fact is that
You're doing great.
The fact is that we have a list of documents and information that you requested for, so which we stick strictly to that. So as Radley said, we'll go back to our asset valuation department, and it changes year by year. So the current one we have, we can furnish that at your request. But it's not that it's not on the request that you give us when we were here last time on the 10th of May. Thank you, sir.
The facility we are managing, struggling to run today. Would it not have been better allowing them to run the refineries for us? And if it is, would you suggest that we do same to every other facility that we have? Disengage the government. Because there is always this saying that becomes very popular, that government has no business in doing business. And what is the frequency of your turnaround maintenance and the average cost? Because the turnaround maintenance over time has looked to me, I may be wrong, has not been quite efficient. It's not effective. It is not delivering on anything. And if you do a cost-benefit analysis, I think that Nigerians have not been better served. Nigeria is bleeding, having these, whether I call them assets or liabilities now, I wouldn't know. Because if we have to be sincere to ourselves, what we have put in, paying salaries, buying spares, running diesel, operational costs, whatever, outweighs whatever it is that we intend to benefit or achieve, holding on to these refineries. I don't know who is benefiting. The man by your corner, your cricker man, does not have petroleum products in his community. If you want to go further down, that's why I said I come from a very marginalized area. There is no one filling station around me that can guarantee what I have at my backyard. If you running it cannot give me this guarantee, why not let it go so that we can have peace? Thank you very much.
Or is there any?
We are paid by Nigerians to talk about this job. As aside, that is entire House in session, House of Representatives. We are paid to leave whatever we are doing in the interest of this nation. And on behalf of Nigerians,
It's not that we are paid, we are elected.
yeah.
To do it.
Okay, we were elected.
That is true.
It's true. I'm paid to do the job, elected. Now, Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure that Techno Mount Nigeria Limited is trying to test the will of the National Assembly. In this case, those who hired them, because we don't want any disruption on the stream of the work they are doing, but if they test our wills, we let them know that we are here on behalf of Nigerians. You may wish to rule and tell them that the clerk give them another date, after which we go through the normal process and procedure as enshrined both in the Constitution and the House rules.
If a state can detain something, we can detain anybody.
Yeah, of course.
That is it.
So, please.
Chairman,
Let him land.
we know he has standed in support of what he's saying.
Let him talk, Chairman, so that I can.
In support of what
It's because of this assignment. Let's summon them to be here in the next legislative day, not to just invite them again. If we can sacrifice, why can't they sacrifice to be here? Chairman, let us put up a motion. Let's summon them. To move, so, Chairman, I move. Yeah, Technomon Nigeria Limited. Technomon Nigeria Limited. So I'm moving a motion that this committee, on behalf of the House, summon Technomon Nigeria Limited to appear on the next adjourned date of this sitting.
Mr. Chairman, secondly,
Yes.
No, it's so that they will capture it. Technimont.
on your right.
Okay. No.
He has
A motion had just been moved that Messrs. Technimont Nigeria Limited should be summoned to the next meeting. It's hereby moved that Mrs. Technimont, shows up unfailingly to this house.
And life, you don't want them there.
Is that we have heard from Nnpc. We don't want to in any way interfere with your program of activities. But you have told us that you have secured approval from FEC. As far as Warri and Kaduna refineries are concerned. But you said everything is under intent as a date. I hereby move. Again.
Before movement, we need to ask questions first. Are they still going to continue with Kaduna when there is no guarantee that the pipelines can move back and then shift it to the other side?
No, that's why that's the motion. That's the essence of the motion.
Yeah.
That's the essence of the motion.
Let me rewind.
Yes.
That since Nnpc had clarified to us here that only the technical evaluation report about both Kaduna and Warri refineries are ready, and that you have secured approval from FEC, but only provisional approval. You have not awarded the contracts for Warri and Kaduna refineries. And owing to the fact that we want that of Port Harcourt, the two refineries in Port Harcourt, to move at the pace as so required, I hereby move that before you proceed for the award of that contract, you should come back to this committee together with Nnpc. We want to see how you are going to manage that interface.
Come back to the house.
Yes, with Port Harcourt refinery.
Come back to the house.
Come back to the house. We cannot stop you, mark it, so that press will not go to say, house stopped FEC's approval. No. You understand what I'm saying? We have the capacity to do that. The Constitution actually empowers us to do that. But it's subject to investigation. And this is an investigative hearing committee. So because this subject matters, both Kaduna and that of Warri are under investigation, we said you must have a recourse to this committee as long as we are still in sitting before you proceed for your final award. That's my motion.
An amendment to that motion. Okay. I want to also amend it to include that the pipe networks, before they even award.
What program they have?
Yes, the pipe network between Warri to Kaduna are either at advanced stage of completion or almost done before you award.
As part of why they come back here for their program.
I'm only telling them now so that they will know. Yeah. Yes.
So don't put the cart before the horse.
Okay.
Then you refine how they finish, and then you now say you want to start putting up the.
So is there anybody amending?
Now we'll take another 10 years, then the refinery will go back to the former state. No. We are not going to take.
Who is seconding the motion?
Second as amended.
Seconded as amended. Okay. So we can go. Seconded as amended. Thank you. Yes. Lee Engineering, I think yours is. You were here before. The boilers. Now that Nnpc.
Because now we are planning to do rehab. One entity. So what is going on? We don't understand.
Okay. In the Warri Refinery. So, 4. Is it 4? Okay. No, I think one is not been working. So, and at that time, even as at 2019 December, up to August, we are still running refinery in Warri up to 30%. We are still producing because when you have 4 boilers, you can manage with 2 boilers. So And then that was awarded because sometimes you do 3+1, 2+1. So we have a spare in case something happened. So at that time, when one boiler came down, we had to quickly award to Lee because we are still running. So, and again, refinery process, the equipment are very long lead items, sir. Some could take 18 months to manufacture. So they are not off-shelf product where you can just go and pick and know. So that's the intention was awarded to them, hoping that that will become the spare, because when that went down, we have to refer to the spare. So all these arrangements of doing rehab, then they are not there. So at the point when we are considering the rehabilitation of the refinery, we realize that rather than doing TAM, why can't we just do a total rehabilitation? And secondly, towards December 2019, the FCC unit came down again, which is area 3. And Lee is down here. Because of long lead items, I believe it was last year that you delivered the boiler, right? I've been here, and it was to the interior there. So again, the foundation work is what you should do. The boiler is already delivered, but they need to now to do the foundation work. So this boiler they are bringing will never be part of the rehab we are going to do. You cannot be part of the scope anymore. So there are many units like that. We have pumps. So when you are doing, and that's why we are not trying to change the strategy for the wording now. So look at when you are doing rehab, it's not whether you are scrapping everything. Some could be working, some can be refurbished, some could be actual replacement. So it's not one single boiler as chairman. So at this point, probably the MD worry want to add more, but truly that's exactly what happened. You cannot wait. In process plant, in a power project, you can have a gas turbine. Today we have power project whereby we have series of gas turbine. You may need only 3 or 4, but you must have spare. That's why they say N+1, in case one of the turbine comes down. So that's exactly what happened. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Nnpc'S. We have 3 boys plus 1.
And that's 4, making 4.
Making 4. But
exactly. Can support.
So I will get to that, sir. I will get to that, sir. So they are not rehabilitating one. They are replacing completely new one. All the 3 boilers were operating at less than 30% capacity. But let me just backtrack a little bit. Steam generation is very, very critical in the operation of the refineries. So when you want to do the rehab, you need to make all the plants. You need to make the plant hydrocarbon free. And the only way you can do that is to have a good boiler that is in good working condition. Because of the 3 boilers that were not working well, we made that conscious decision in 2017 to have a complete new boiler that can operate and support the operation. Bori Refinery was working up to 2019 when we shut it down for rehab. And that boiler should have been completed early 2020. But however, the COVID came in and we had challenges with completing it. But all the spare parts are on ground and we will be able to complete it before the end of this year runs out. So that is why we awarded the boiler. First was we needed a good boiler to continue with the operations in 2017. We also needed a good boiler to make sure that when we shut down completely for rehab, we have steam to be able to make the entire plant carbon free. Yes. Thank you.
So the boilers now are on boiler.
Come again?
So a boiler is like your electric kettle. So if you have some deposit inside the boiler, you won't be able to get. It won't be efficient. So it's either you clean it up, or you get a new completely kettle to make sure that you can get enough steam from the boiler, and that's exactly what we're doing to make sure that we get enough steam from the new boiler that we are installing. But the 2 boilers are still working, and they are operational, only that they are operating at much less than their installed capacity.
Thank you. Well, 2021, there was no activity since 2019.
The survey and whatever.
Equipment test and integrity. Is a part of engineering. What was that one?
Was developed and signed on the 6th of April.
No, see, sir, sorry. I want to be very clear about one thing. Between 20, because there is no way you will not have gotten approval from FEC and then you commence activity on a contract.
Okay, let me say something.
Okay, so.
2020, the whole world went communicado. Okay, COVID-19. Exactly. Everybody ran for his life. Nothing happened in 2020. Okay, so we should be able to, and immediately we all resume 2021, and then we concluded.
I see, you know, maybe because Nnpc was handling the entire process on your behalf, maybe they didn't really carry you out. How, sir?
No.
Sir,
Let me explain.
Let me explain what happened. I'll tell you. I'll say so. We did companies. 31 is in our submission here. So we do the pre-call. After the pre-call, because of this COVID-19 2020, most companies wanted to come and see physically what we are bidding on. Those who have come before, that are familiar with it, out of 31, they dropped down to 7. We have the list there.
Oh, sir.
Sorry,
sir. No, sorry, sir. I'm elected to ask you a question.
All right, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, during the narration by the GMB, he mentioned that we got approval for us to use the ORB, original for rehabilitation. Along the line, during the discussion, it became clear that the ORB was going to take advantage of single sourcing. And then we said, look, we need to get a better value for the rehab. On that basis, they had to go back to FEC and say, look, let's go full competitive tendering using some selective EPC contractors, including the ORB. And that was when we got the approval for, and went to BPP, we got the approval to utilize 30 globally known EPC contractors for the tendering process, to make the tendering more competitive. Because when you single source, the tendency is that the single sourcing entity tend to take advantage of the process. So that was what, between 2019 and early 2020, that's what we did, and then we moved to competitive tendering. Between 2020 and 2021, because of COVID, the contractors that were even selected, they could not even visit the site because there were travel restrictions. So COVID delayed most of the process until 2021, early 2021, when we got approval from FEC to go ahead and award the contract for Port Harcourt, which was eventually awarded on the 6th of April 2021.
Were they spent based on your expenditure limit? That is, until you get the approval from FEC to now use the consolidated budget for this same project. That's the question I've asked.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Before the project in Port Harcourt was awarded, there was a detailed technical and plant survey that was concluded in 2019, which was done again by Mayor Technimont as representative of the original refinery builder. He's not listening to me.
Yes.
Let me tell you the conclusion here.
Okay. So that. In 2019 was to conduct a detailed technical survey to establish clearly what needed to be done. 50 million. Yes. Well, I wouldn't be able to answer that, but it went through the right governance as it should be. It went through the right governance and approvals as it should be. Yeah. But they must have Yes. There are two separate contracts. As I said, one was to establish.
No, just say what you want to.
Oh,
Ask him to explain.
Don't provide it.
We'll provide it.
We'll provide it.
Not now.
The 50 and then the 1.3.
Oh, the 1.3. Oh, okay. Yes, Honorable.
Because we don't want to say something. Okay, and then we want to know your approval limit, and then the contract cycle leading to that. Then secondly,
But the document we requested on the 15 million has not submitted.
that's what I wrote down.
Contract of the 15 million US dollars, which was requested for in the last meeting. You need to speak to it. Why are the documents not here?
So it's not on the list.
This request was made in last sitting.
No, what I'm saying, what we have, say we should bring the survey report of President.
Tuesday.
Tuesday is
Friday.
okay.
Today is Friday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Today is Friday. Oh, you talk, sir. Sorry.
Give them to Tuesday.
Okay. Nnpc, please, the document should get
to us,
today
yeah.
to us
On Tuesday.
by Tuesday.
But I want something.
You talk, sir.
They need to clear something here. Too.
You will. Let's just get that ruling out. Okay. That's ruled upon. Yes, sir.
Please, when we started, it was said to have already been carried out in 2016 on all the 3 refineries by consortium of firms. 2016. Then, separately again, technical survey on Warri and Kaduna refineries were conducted again by Sapien in 2017. Can you respond to it?
When is Tuesday?
The 3 refineries where the technical survey was already carried out in 2016 in all the 3 refineries by firms of consortium of firms.
Line it.
Huh?
Does it mention the name companies?
7th.
I need to ask them which company.
Which companies?
7th.
The companies that carried out the technical survey in 2016 on all the 3 refineries. Then 2017 again, the same, another technical survey by SAPE on 2017.
Okay, let me explain.
Cycles and Saudi Warri, engagement with the third parties pay and subsequent
Now, for 2021, which is for the 1.5 billion, we need the extracts of the approval.
Because, we need to compare it with that of 2016. We need the approval given to you for the 1.5 billion. So that should be accompanied with the one you are submitting on June 7th, before the close of business. I've ruled. Honorable members, architect.
No, he has just
Okay. Honorable members,
we didn't hear from me again.
we have asked them to submit all these documents, and
Me
then
engineering.
we just adjourn. No light. There's no light. Oh, we should, okay. We have questions for Lee. Let's see. So, distinguished honorable members, I want to thank you, all of you, very much. And I want to appreciate all our invited guests and the press for being part of this process. Please, Nnpc and our respective managers in the refineries, we want to let you know that it's not a process to hurt anyone, and it's not a process to indict anybody. It is being carried out in the spirit of nationalism and patriotism. You are as hot as every other Nigerians what we are going through as far as petrol is concerned in this country. When the son of a cow seller is eating the bones. So, and we need to put so many things in the right perspectives and allow Nigerians to know the challenges we are having. And then we'll put heads together and see how we are going to resolve them. It's so unfortunate that we have let what we're supposed to do undone, and we have come to this level. But nothing is bad, nothing is spoiled yet. We are on what we'll call damage control. The committee, as instead of, by the National Assembly, is a kind of fact-finding so that we can have legislative input into how to assist the Nnpc and the refineries managers on how we can come back on stream. Or if necessary, we make recommendations for otherwise. Well, we are going to assure you on one thing, that whatever is going to be our recommendation at the end of the day will be what you on that side and we on this side as legislators have come to agree on the round table and then for going forward. We thank you for coming and thank you for sparing your time. However, it's not over until we're able to get to at least certain level of this discussion. We want to appeal. By Thursday, 9th of June, we are going to converge again here in this same hall, and I'm sure it's not going to take as long as what we have done since morning. So Lee and other contractors and all the stakeholders, everybody involved, those that are not even here, they will write to them. We want you to please honor us again on Thursday, 9th of June, where we are going. Somebody's still going to move emotion on that. I just want to prepare our mind. Once again, we thank all of you and wish you all a safe journey back to your respective destinations. Can somebody move for adjournment, please?
Mr. Chairman, with due respect, before the motion for adjournment, I need to remind them again that we are expecting the documents by Tuesday in our secretariat. And I want to move that this investigative committee adjourns the Thursday night of June.
Yes, sir.
Is it 11?
Yes, 11
11 a.m. I so move.
Anybody second? Yeah. Those in support of the motion as moved and seconded, say aye. Aye. Those against, they have left. Okay. This house hereby adjourned.
Chairman, next time we will not tell Nnpc the date so that they will not stop supplying us with gas on the day of hearing.
That was hereby adjourned to 9th of June by 11 a.m. this same room. God's willing next week. Thank you. Thank you very much, and of course, all of you witnessed and being part of the entire process. It's not a witch hunting program; it's exercise, and of course, you have seen how majority of us turned up. It's all in the interest of the nation because we were all elected to do this for the nation, and we cannot do otherwise. What actually are we trying to find out? It's about our refineries. We have 4 refineries, and we have allocation of about 420 or 450,000 barrels of crude for local refining, local utilization. Yet, we are importing fuel. Yet, we are paying for subsidy. And yet, the refineries are not working. It's even at 0 or the 4. And yet, we are paying salaries for the workers. We cannot abandon them. Many of the equipment, they need maintenance. And the last how many months or years, God knows, we cannot produce even just process 1 barrel of crude. So it's funny. And yet, Nigerians are talking. There have been so many petitions to the House of the National Assembly, per se, about how much actually have been spent in the last few years, especially 10 years, about rehabilitation, renovation, maintenance, overhauling, all sorts of names on our refineries, and yet we can't get them working. Then again, you can see the revelations. Even worry Kaduna, as it were, if we pump money to refine them, to put the refinery back in place, how do we get crude for supplies? Because the pipeline networks are already in bad shape. So, and then Port Harcourt Refinery, the old and new that they are trying to fix, you can see the way we have equally advised them. If you have old and new, and then you have to move at certain pace to get your engineering, procurement, installation, and commission for the new one, at least one aspect, get it running. Let's see all Nigerians are eager to see that petrol that is being produced, produced here in this country.
Were you satisfied with the presentation by the MD Port Harcourt Refinery?
See, it's not an end to a means until it is justified. We have requested.
It's been months that this committee have been on this investigation. So far, have you gotten anything tangible from your investigation?
I'll tell you that we have progressed considerably. We have progressed. I mean, there's no point coming to waste my time. Today is Friday. Immediately I've left the mosque, I had to come, all in the interest of my country. So, of course, my colleagues as well. So we have progressed considerably. And if there is anything that I think we have actually achieved, if there are any lapses or gaps anywhere in what they are doing as a nation, then we as a police, which is oversight, investigating them, everybody's back to drawing board. And I can assure you that nobody will want to be found
Yes,
wanting.
you requested for amount spent on the basis for the past 10 years. But they told you the refinery was last rehabilitated 2000.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They rehabilitated 2000. Yeah, 2000.
Yeah.
Now, but the records from some quarters were showing that on yearly basis there were approvals and utilization of those funds. So what's your take on that? Do you agree with them?
Well, something I should agree. It is how the monies were spent that we should get bothered about. There is no how you are going to have plants of that magnitude that will not be spending money to maintain such a plant.
There is none. They couldn't answer that question.
They could. I agree with you, but that's still subject to further investigation. It's not just going to be a classroom academic exercise. We are going to the field. We are going to the refinery. We are going to the site. We are going to verify. You can see among my colleagues, many of them, you can see engineers, you have lawyers, you have, in all classes, you have quantity surveyors, all classes of professions. You have them among us there. So we are going there to have physical checks. We just want to establish our facts, armed ourselves with what we are able to extract from their documents, and then when we go there, we are only asking specific questions and then we get specific answers.
Yes, sir. Honorable, sorry, can we switch?
Yeah, it's
Because
okay.
Made on the same day in millions.
They are there.
Can you let us into?
No,
what
the facts are there. You know, this exercise is investigative. We cannot conclude now. Because if I am to speak as an individual, I have some adjectives I would have used in qualifying what I am saying. But I can't just come to a conclusion here because the matter is still on and is investigative.
No, based on what you saw, the figures you saw, sir.
And what I saw, those are part of the fact findings that we are looking for. We already have them and we are going to use them. At the appropriate time, Nigeria will hear. You know, the essence of this exercise was, this exercise came as a result of the oil subsidy money that we were supposed to appropriate for again. We now say with this huge amount of money, we need to know what is happening to our refineries. How, also too, another committee was set up to verify the number of liters that we consume per day. So everything we are working together to arrive at a solution that will benefit Nigerians. That is why we are representative of the people. Whatever you are seeing here, at the appropriate time, it will be public to everybody. But if I summarize, if I say anything, it's like I'm concluding when I'm in a race and I've not gotten to the end.
The committee asked them, demanded a recourse to the committee or to the House before that action could be taken on either Kaduna.
Yes, we mentioned it because if you say the pipeline they are vandalized and yet you are still doing some technical survey in combining it with Port Harcourt, when you know that even when you finish work in Kaduna, you will not be able to push products. So why concentrating efforts there? Why don't we just face one side and let's have one running?
Thank you. Just to minimize our loss.